You heard it here first, folks. I have a personal opinion about A-Reece that is negative? Is that even possible? Why, yes, sir. Yes, it is. I really feel like P2 is overrated, and I'm going to make an argument on why that is. So, if you're a slime, you might want to cover your ears.
Hey, what do you see when you see me? The greatness, not an MC that wanna be famous, wanna reach great heights, wanna make it take flight. Didn't make it from a poor home, but I still want.
Before I dive into why this album is mid, I'd like to start off by saying I like A-Reece's music. He's a phenomenal rapper, and I won't take anything away from him. And I also feel I need to clarify, I'm not criticizing A-Reece because I think Nasty C is better, and vice versa. Deep down, you know that that's just an excuse for you to say that your favorite artist has no real haters, which I am not, by the way. Now let's get into why I hate this album. This thing of A-Reece having his songs be under 3 minutes is getting pretty annoying. How can you call yourself a lyricist when you can't even go 45 minutes on a beat? Wanted All does this exact thing, but instead of ending the track, it drags it out. Look, whoever did the vocals on that song, hats off to you. But if Reece knew the vocals were gonna carry the song, he could have at least added another verse. This song sounds so unfinished. His subject matter was kind of getting somewhere. So if he expanded on that in a second verse, I would have been happy. But it does exactly what the 5-year plan does. It wasted the beat. I mean, seriously, where's that godlike energy? Matter of fact, where's that Paradise energy? This is Paradise 2, right? Where's the energy from Paradise 1? El Dorado could have been a really great song, but that's taken away by the fact that it's only 1 minute and 54 seconds long. It's so short that when I start to get into it, it ends. It's like going on a roller coaster and reaching the top just for you to blink and be at the end of the ride. I could say the same about Bruce Wayne, Set in Stone, and Ving Rhames, which are either 2 minutes or under. I saw this YouTube short on a random day of this Han who said A-Reece's music was monotonous at times. I didn't know what that word meant, so I googled it, and yeah, that is exactly how I feel about A-Reece's music, especially on this album. I mean, oh my gosh, it felt like a bunch of freestyles that Reece put into song form. Let's be honest, guys. We all know that if Reece is on a beat, he's going to rap his butt off. And he did on every track of P2. But we've heard it all before. I'm the best rapper in South Africa.
I've been, running this, feel like I've been running this shit. Nah, for real. Statements, niggas loose sleep, try and match this greatness. How else could I say this when I was 17? I was better than your favorites.
My weed is expensive.
Plain type whip, smoking no gelato. Breaking up the weed, smoking limited edition.
Sneak dissing.
Niggas say they love it only when they dab. That's a hypocrite.
Obviously, he says more than that, but I'm just speaking on what he generally talks about. Of course, there are songs like White Noise.
They keep promising the truth.
That speak on things like the government and how they're doing nothing to help the world around us. Or even Angels and Demons.
I was at my lowest when I had the devil on my shoulder. Did a lot of things that I regret when I get.
Where he talks about his shortcomings and how he will regret them in the future. But other than that, Reece doesn't really do anything out of the ordinary. And it makes the music sound samey. I was going through A-Reece's catalog on shuffle, and West African Time started playing. At first, I was thinking of skipping it because of my feelings on the album, but I didn't, and out of context of the album, it's actually a brilliant track.
I gotta say, it got me feeling like Carlito. I could spit an apple in your face.
But that's the thing. Out of context of the album, most, if not all, the songs sound better. And that's what I mean when I say the music sounds samey. Because if I were to hear West African Time after a song like Just Another Song or Sunday Nights, I'd be able to appreciate it more because there is a clear difference between the sound of these tracks. Songs on Triple TM don't sound like songs on Deadlines, and songs on Deadlines don't sound like songs on The Burning Tree. And a blend of the different sounds could have been good for the album. Or he could have done what he did on KTK and done an entirely different sound from what we're used to. And look, I'm not opposed to an album having a specific sound. I actually think it's better that way so that the project is not all over the place. But when you're saying the same thing on the same beat, I'm obviously going to lose interest. The hype around P2 was huge.
It's been 3 days since P2 dropped. A-Reece has dropped his long-awaited and highly anticipated third studio album. Oh my god! I'm gonna cry now! Dude, how long we've been waiting for Paradise 2?
It's P2, the big-hearted bad guy. With all caps. It's not just an album, it's a moment in history. The same way Paradise turned A-Reece into one of the ones coming up to watch out for, P2 was going to make people pay attention to A-Reece and what he had to say. And it damn sure did. You've seen the numbers. You know the deal.
Paradise 2, the big-headed bad guy, has reached a new milestone as it accumulated over 7.4 million streams on Spotify in just the single month and a few days of its release. Entry into the venue in the UAE in the United Kingdom. A-Reece currently holds the crown for receiving the most streams of an album in a 24-hour trend, to accumulated over 1 million streams in the 24-hour trend. Spending 2 days, spending at least 4 days. This success reflects a gradual and steady growth in the popularity of his newly dropped songs and monthly listeners since his first project, peaking at number 140, 142.
But to me, it didn't really feel like his magnum opus. It didn't feel like a Strings and Bling. It didn't feel like a Levels or a 3T. Instead, to me, it felt like what Today's Tragedies is. A mixtape. I mean, even the EP to build up hype for the album was better than the album itself. If Reece had switched a couple of songs out with the ones on Deadlines, I feel like this would have been a more enjoyable album. The Run could have been switched out with Bad Guy. Different Things is a better song for the Huns than Too Much, which just sounds like a lazy attempt at a jab at X Global, which kind of worked, but Reece just sounds like he doesn't want to do the song.
Say we'll make you move stuff. Take you all around the world. I'm doing too much, ay.
Oh yeah, and Godlike, switching it with any song on this album would instantly bump its rating up for me.
Got to the crib and I just connected to Scarlet. Back to record it. Gotta be
one of the best lyrical tracks the boy has ever made, in my opinion. And before I forget, we talked about Today's Tragedy, right? Let's get back to that. I heard somewhere that Today's Tragedy, Tomorrow's Memory was originally set to be P2 before Reece's falling out with Mash Beats and all the stuff with words. And if that's true, boy, do I wish we stayed with that plan. Because the original project is far superior than the one we actually got. For a mixtape, this sure feels like there was a lot put into it. Reece raps a lot, but this mixtape felt like he was making music. From the opening track, Mark 15:35,
Long gone are the better days, nigga. God gives and he takes.
Dichotomy,
Heartbreaks, court cases and infidelity, allegations, long faces. It's a war going on outside, nobody's safe from. Niggas ain't got a license,
Same
but
thing.
damn life is a motherfucker. Hard to sit back and see the same thing that happened to me.
Reece is pouring his heart and soul into these tracks, being vulnerable, and if my word is nothing, his older brother even said it himself.
Triple TM. And that's when I heard Triple TM for the first time, bro. I was like, what? What? I could hear the growth in my little brother's mind, bro. Yeah. You know?
This tape is what turned me into a A-Reece fan. I feel like it was a bad way to start my A-Reece music journey, cause it made me unappreciative of his previous projects. I have since repented from my sins and I now have and I'm only 21 in my rotation. But my point is, there is a clear difference between the two projects. One sounds like a bunch of songs put together and packaged as an album to deliver a promise to the fans, while the other sounds like it was carefully crafted to take the listener into the mind of the artist for an immersive experience. With this comparison, I'm trying to show you what I expect from Reece, because I just know there are always slimes out there who are going to be like, oh, well, what do you expect from Reece? He's not one of those artists making hits just because a label tells him to. You want to change him. A-Reece is one of SA hip-hop's biggest rappers, and with that comes a certain standard he must uphold. And when he does not uphold that standard, we should be able to call him out for it without fear of getting bashed for doing so. Look, you may disagree with my opinion on P2, but at least have the decency to tell me your point of view instead of telling me I'm stupid because I dislike a piece of music that you feel strongly about. As a fan, I have standards for A-Reece, and P2 did not reach those standards. Neither did Kill the King, frankly. But the title track though? So those are my thoughts on P2, the big-hearted bad guy. And as you can guess, I'm probably in the minority with this opinion.